Grant and I are in North Carolina for a couple days actually to tour several different properties owned by the same landowner. Every property is different, so we're going to really take our time on each property, dive into those nooks and crannies, find out what the neighborhood is like at every property, and start developing a recipe for a habitat improvement and hunting improvement project plan for these properties. Now, we've got some ag, we've got some production soybean and corn. There's a lot of cotton in the area, not on these properties, but in the neighborhood. So we're going to take that into account. We're going to have some stands of pines, some hardwoods. It's got even some bottomland next to some of these properties. So all this is coming into play on how we're going to design a hunting strategy based on our habitat improvements. We're going to be talking about how to improve the soil health. They're using conventional tillage in their soybeans and their corn production. So we're going to be talking about what it looks like to maybe start using no-till and start improving that soil health. The goals of this landowner is to improve the quantity and the quality of deer. So we need some groceries and we need some good habitat. We need it designed in a way to help them harvest more venison and get their hands on some antlers. So come along with Grant and I as we tour these properties. It's going to be a fun couple days. There's rain in the forecast, but that's not going to stop us. We're going to be out there no matter what. We're going to, of course, just be hopping out of the UTV every now and then. If we find something cool, we'll stop and we'll share it. So we'll never know what's around the next corner. Here we go. What we call a hard pan, almost no deep roots, and see how they're all growing sideways?
Yes, sir.
Because this field's been disked, and when you disc a field, it fluffs up the top, you know, whatever, 4 or 5 inches, and when roots can't go down, I see that. See how that's the perfect J root. See how that big taproot right there? It hits that hard pan and turns sideways, so all the nutrients and water below that are not accessible to the crop. It limits, you notice on these beans, most of them only are making 2 pods. Healthy beans will make 3 or 4 beans, actual beans per pod. Well, that also converts into bigger antlers. Healthier dirt converts into bigger antlers. So I was looking at this out of the vehicle and I thought I was seeing it. And also there's a fair amount of insect holes in here. Healthier plants can defend themselves against insects. So I think we can make some improvement in our farming techniques also that will yield a better crop and produce healthier forage for critters to consume. But that hard pan is telltale. And this, you know, you can feel that. That's a pretty big root, but it couldn't penetrate the soil. It turned sideways. So that would be step 1. Let's change some of these farming practices.
Okay.
Power lines because that's just free land. So the tree roots are out here already. Intro cutting right through here.
Yep.
I'd be real tempted. I don't know how wet that gets out in there. I see some wet or tight vegetation, but while it's dry, I'd be real tempted to be mowing that. These power lines between thickets like this, you're just looking through the bedroom. I mean, man, you can kill some deer right here.
Okay.
I would have me a tall blind right here. And have that mowed is where you can mow it before season. I promise you someone will harvest deer here.
Okay.
I promise you. Because you're looking in an area that's undisturbed. I mean, that's the best hunting spot I've seen on the property so far. Don't you agree, Daniel?
Yeah.
Daniel loves hunting power lines in our place. Ours are real steep. You're usually looking like this. But,
Okay.
I mean, that is, you know, let's say you're shooting a gun 200 or 300 yards, whatever, you know, you're sighted in for a practice 2. Well, you got all that area that deer don't have any idea anyone's around. Oh my gosh, that's a tool right there. And look behind you, like right here, the only leaves
where you get to more leaves or up out of reach of a deer. That's what we call browse line. Now this, when you look up, these are bigger pine trees in the land we saw back there. On the land we've been driving by, this understory is just jam full of sweet gums and maples. And I don't know if you noticed on this side road back there, it was dark in there. I mean, dark. You didn't see like this, it was dark. So no groceries, and no bedding or no place for a turkey to nest. Because a turkey nest in here, you know, a bear, coyote, coon can smell their nest easy. But if we spray that and use fire and get rid of all that trashy wood and let those pines be what we call pine savanna, that's ideal turkey habitat, ideal deer fawning habitat, ideal deer cover habitat. And that's an easy change that will make a big difference quick. So we want to get out of this biological desert strategy and get into a production strategy. Not just our fields, but also the woodlands also. So they're high in carbohydrates at that time of year, not now, but when the beans dry. Real high in carbs, that's why we got corn, but real high in protein too. I mean, I 10 to 1 would rather have bean pods than corn, and they're easier to grow. I think one thing I'll probably suggest, which is going to be contrary for where we are, I know, but let's plant at least some of our beans in an earlier maturing bean so we can get that fall cover crop started earlier. Just wrapping up day one here at Tim's property in eastern North Carolina. We flew in and get there late afternoon. Haven't seen all the property, but seen a pretty good representation. I'm already developing a plan, Daniel and I. We're talking about changing the ag program. We can make that more productive, more profitable, and better for wildlife. And like a lot of places, you know, we got high graded timber and pine stands that are dog hair thick. We need to do some timber stand improvement in the forest to really increase that part of the carrying capacity, because it was pretty much a biological desert. Everywhere there were trees, it was a biological desert. But just day one, day two, we're looking a little deeper into it, think about where we're putting some redneck blinds, stuff like that. Get this baby all dolled up, give them a plan to have more productive hunting.